Good afternoon. Welcome to this day of opportunities, possibilities, miracles, and choices. Let's hope that we don't have surprises on this day, at least not at this time, and that our internet service is working like it's supposed to. I welcome you into this environment of peace and relaxation so that you can just take a few moments for you. Let me begin by thanking all of you who joined in and watched and viewed last week and the weeks leading up to that and shared your comments. I appreciate it. Your comments are always encouraging. Just the little things that you say that it meant something to you means something to me. So I appreciate that very much. Also, thank you for sharing it. Many of you shared this video, you shared the content, you shared the conversations. And I hope that in you sharing that, it enriched your experience just a little bit more. And that maybe you even use some of the tools to help you manage and make it through some difficult periods. It's my hope that that happened. So as we begin this day with relaxing and breathing, why don't we just do that for starters? Relax and breathe. Would you inhale with me? Inhale. Exhale. Relax. Inhale. Exhale. Relax. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Relax. It looks like the fish behind me is inhaling and exhaling at the same time. That kind of tickles me because I didn't time it that way, but it's all in order. So as you relax and breathe, here's what I'd like you to think about. Sometimes we are not relaxed. We're not breathing because there's an issue that's looming over us, that's overwhelming, and we're not handling that. And we don't know how to handle it. And because of that, we're not relaxing and breathing. So what I would like you to do in concert with your breathing exercise, isolate the issue that may be causing the problem, that may be causing you to not feel relaxed. Sometimes it can be clouded with a lot of distractions and a lot of other things going on. Isolate, and that might make it overwhelming. Isolate as best you can down to what is specifically going on that's causing you to feel frustration and stress and maybe even anger sometimes, but definitely not being able to relax. Isolate it. Once you've isolated, identify what success looks like. What does resolution look like? Many people are clear about complaining about the problem, but they haven't taken the time to consider, wait a minute, what does success look like? What does resolution look like? So take a moment and you're relaxing and breathing and not only isolate the issue, figure out exactly what you need to do to find success and ask yourself, is it realistic what you're trying to do? Lastly, initiate some action, some specific thing that you can do, some measurable thing that you can do, something that's realistic, something that's achievable. Initiate some action towards something that's realistic to help you to relax. When I was feeling tension and having trouble relaxing as my mother was making her final transition here in this plane, I was having trouble when I isolated what was going on and tried to figure out what resolution was. For me, resolution would have been my mother being better and healed and not having any more problems, but that wasn't realistic. That wasn't to be. But what was realistic, that my mother loved music, and I could do that. I could bring her some music and I could play some music for her. I could ask other people to have music for her because there's power in that. That was realistic. I knew that my mother, when I was a little boy, we had a dog named Trixie and she used to laugh. I remember my mother laughing. And I said, maybe I can contact one of those like service companies. They have service dogs, to come out. And I said, maybe I can invite them out to bring a dog or two, and maybe that might help my mother to relax and breathe. That was realistic. That I could do. that helped me relax and breathe a little better. It happens that the dog they brought out didn't help my mother relax. I think they brought a bulldog and a chihuahua, none of which we had in our home. But the idea was to try to put some pets around it that might make it a little bit easier. And I felt better, at least knowing that I tried to do something. It helped me relax for just a moment. Maybe you can try that. Isolate the issue that's causing stress for you. Identify what success looks like. Initiate an action that's achievable and realistic that might help make that situation resolve. See, man, I have a little shea butter on me. I feel like I'm shining a little bit. Okay. So that brings us to our mindful moment content for today. We're in this journey of life lessons learned from the airport. So the next step is this. The next experience is this. At a certain point when you're traveling through the airport, you're going to hear an announcement that comes over the intercom that will say something like, do not accept unknown baggage from anyone that's there. Do not pick up any unknown packages. Do not accept baggage from anyone unknown. The reason is obvious. You could be picking up something that's hazardous to your well-being and the well-being of those around you. It may cause a problem. It could be explosives, and it could be anything in there. And again, as mother would say, that doesn't belong to you. Put that down. So don't pick up unknown belongings. That's what they tell us at the airport. How can we translate that experience to a real life example? Some of us are carrying around belongings that are unknown, that really don't belong to us. And it's possible that if we keep going forward, it could create some problems and some issues in our life. Let me tell you what those unknown packages, that unknown baggage is. That's your beliefs that you're carrying around. You see, when you were born, just like with me and everybody else, the people who loved us and cared for us gave us their beliefs, gave us their opinions. And sometimes they just told us things to keep us quiet, you know, things that may not have been true. But they told us that, and they shared things, in some cases, that they truly believed was what a person, or how a person should live. So they told you how you should look at men, maybe how you should look at women, how you should think about family, what you should think about intimate relations, places where you should live, how you should feel about work, how you should feel about religion, how you should feel about traveling. Every aspect of your life before the age of 5, many of these beliefs, opinions, rules, and regulations were embedded into you, into your subconscious, so that you would consciously do certain things. It was embedded deeply, and as we got older, those beliefs formed into habits for us to continue with that, and ultimately actions. So today, in 2017, many of us are acting. We have relationships, health issues. We deal with men, women, work, success, health, based on the habits that we have that were rooted in the beliefs that were given to us by someone else. So the point is, what do you do when you're carrying around those kind of things? When you can sit long enough to examine your behavior and the habits that leads to that behavior, and ultimately the beliefs that led to all of that. What do you do? First thing you do is you ask yourself, is it true? Is it consistent? And is it still relevant? First of all, is it true? I did an interview with a man a few years ago, and I still follow much of what he says in something called streaming consciousness. And he has something I'm going to share. I've been waiting to share this with you during this section right here. He says this. He says, ask the questions, answer those questions, and then question the answers that you get. His name is Carlton Pearson. Some people refer to him as Bishop Carlton Pearson. He had a radical change in his life because of following that same process, asking the questions, answering those questions, and then questioning those answers. That is something, because, you know, many of us have stopped asking questions because at some point when we were little, someone said, "Hey, stop asking so many questions." You say, "Why and what and where does this come from and how do you do that?" And they said, to get you quiet, stop asking so many questions. So there are some adults now who no longer ask questions. They just do what they're told to do on one level or another. Asking the questions. So the first thing is what you believe true? And in asking questions, let me revisit this part. Ask the people who gave or passed down some of those beliefs and opinions to you. You may be interested in what that reaction might be. Some people don't like to be questioned because they don't know really how to answer those things. So is it true? How do you find out if something is true? Well, you certainly don't just ask one person. You verify it from at least 3 separate different choices or different options. That's how you find truth. You don't just find it by asking one person one thing, because many people are not even searching for truth. They're searching for confirmation for what they already believe. So they don't look outside of a certain circle. They stay right narrow in there, and they don't even look outside it because they really don't want to hear a truth that's different than what they already believe. What about you? What if there's a truth outside of what you have been taught about men, about women, about success, about jobs, about health, about eating, drinking, about religion, about God, about death? What if there is a truth beyond what you were originally told? Have you researched yourself outside of those sources that you get your information from? I watch Perry Mason sometime, and you know, it's like some people, they'll ask him a question. Well, certainly they don't say, "Well, if you want to know the truth, just ask me." No, Perry Mason say, "Listen, we have checked a few other sources, and what you're saying doesn't line up." Are you searching for truth, or are you searching for confirmation for what you already believe? And if you hear something different, what are you prepared to do? Are you carrying some unknown baggage that may be a problem? In searching and asking those questions, being able to ask the questions and answer them and then question those answers, is it consistent with where you're going in life? The beliefs that you have, is it consistent with what you want to accomplish? Have you found that there's some kind of a conflict? You're trying to reach this goal, but you have an internal conflict because you have been taught that it's not right to do this, or you shouldn't do that. Is it consistent with your goal? Is following your path bringing you peace, bringing you harmony, bringing you progress, and bringing you contentment? Lastly, is it relevant to where you are, to today? There were some truths that were relevant in the 1950s in terms of communication, in terms of dress, in terms of travel, even in terms of responsibilities inside of a home. There were truths and beliefs that were passed down in the 1950s. Some of those things are not relevant in the year 2017. Have you made that shift? See, the point is that many of us are acting in ways from a subconscious place because these beliefs were implanted as engrams deep down inside of us during times when we were unable to, or we had not yet developed analytical skills, so we couldn't process all of that, but they were planted down deep at an emotional level. Now we just react based on those things. I went through a process a few years ago called auditing, a personal auditing. Some of you out there know what this is, where they go in and help you examine your engrams, those beliefs, that pillars of habits, behaviors have been built on. It's amazing what you can discover about yourself. Is it possible that you're carrying around beliefs now, unknown baggage that may not be true, that may not be consistent with where you're going, and that may not be relevant to your life today? Ask the questions, as Carlton Pearson would say. Answer those questions, and then have the courage to question those answers, looking for truth, consistency, and relevancy. That being said, I encourage you to look for an opportunity to make that happen. Won't just happen automatically. Look for an opportunity to have that examination. Next, consider the possibility of carrying around something that's explosive and it exploding on you at the most inconvenient time. Consider that possibility. The possibility of carrying around a belief with you that may cause a problem when you're trying to get into a new relationship. That may cause a problem when you find, why can't I get to the health I'm trying to get to? What if you're carrying around a belief that's exploding in your health condition, in your relationships, in your direction for success, and your goals for wealth, and your ideas about God and death and dying and living? What if you're carrying something that belonged to someone else and it's exploding in you because it's not yours? Mama said, put that down. That's not yours. Lastly, expect and experience miracles that will unfold in your life as you become more conscious of your moments. You become more aware of what's going on and why you do what it is that you do. Experience miracles that will happen. Experience the resistance that you're going to get when you try to ask some people, well, why do you believe this? Why do you think that way? It's said by somebody, I don't know, Einstein or someone, if you can't explain what you believe simply, in simple terms, then you simply don't understand it well enough. Take that in consideration and experience miracles that's going to happen in your life as time goes on. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of that. This week, Thanksgiving comes this week, and they say that tomorrow is going to be one of the highest travel days that's been since 2005. I don't know what happened in 2005, but it's going to be a lot of people traveling. You're going to be around people traveling, drinking, using drugs in some cases, doing a lot of things. Be careful out there. Be careful. Be conscious. Have some rich, in-depth conversation beyond the superficial. Take somebody that you know to the fifth level of inquiry, asking questions, not just for the sake of trying to appear intelligent or trying to stump somebody, but ask questions with the intention of trying to get an understanding. There's some people who they don't ask questions because they really want to know. They ask questions because they're trying to get a break in so they can tell you what's on their mind. They're not interested in changing. They just want to try to stump you. Try to ask questions with the intention of listening to understand, not just to reply. As you safely travel through this holiday weekend till we rejoin. December 22nd, it's all in order. Benefit concert performance I'm doing. It's going to be a great evening, an up-close and personal musical experience where we're going to give some of our benefit proceeds to the Alzheimer's Association. If you know anybody who has experienced someone who has had Alzheimer's, if you know anyone who's currently dealing with some challenges, you come out. You'll be in an environment of other people who appreciate that and also appreciate music. This is not a memorial that we're going to have. It's not going to be sad. It's going to be a festive event. It's right just before the holidays. You may want to have this as one of your holiday outings. Come enjoy some time with us. Information is on the Facebook. It's at eventbrite.com. It's all in order. I'm Marcus Gentry. Thank you for joining in. I appreciate you being here. And until the next time, travel well with respect.